Okay, let's unpack this. If you're involved with kids at all, parent, grandparent, teacher, anyone really,
Hmm.
you know the drill, the power struggles, the constant reminders, feeling like you're swinging between, I don't know, too tough or too soft.
Definitely. And that's why we're doing a deep dive today into this whole parenting with love and logic idea.
Right. We've got the main books here, Parenting with Love and Logic, the one for younger kids, Love and Logic Magic for early childhood, and even a review giving an outside look.
Yeah, so we've got a good mix of material.
And the plan really is to pull out the core stuff. What's the big idea behind it? What are the actual techniques you can use? And what's the long game? How's it meant to help raise kids who are, well, responsible, resilient,
Ooh.
without driving everyone crazy?
Well, the absolute core is this blend, this partnership between love and they really mean empathy when they say love and logic, which translates to, consequences, natural ones, ideally.
So it's not just splitting the difference between being super strict or letting everything slide.
No, they frame it as something else entirely. The aim isn't just obedience, it's empowerment. Helping kids grow into people who can think for themselves, make smart choices, rely on themselves.
Which sounds great, but how does that actually work?
Well, a big part is shifting how you see problems. Instead of just annoyances to punish or fix for them, every, mess up or challenge becomes a potential lesson, a chance for the child to figure something out about how things work.
Okay. And they boil it down to two basic rules for parents, right?
Yep. Really simple on the surface. First one, adults set firm limits. That part's maybe familiar, but the key is how. Lovingly. No anger, no lectures, no threats, no saying it 5 times.
Easier said than done sometimes, I imagine.
Oh, for sure. And the second rule connects right to that. When a kid messes up or causes a problem, the parent's job is to, well, hand the problem back. Gently, with empathy.
Hand it back.
Yeah. So the child owns it and starts thinking about their options instead of the parent either jumping in to solve it or just laying down the law.
Okay, that idea, letting kids own their problems, that feels like a major hurdle for a lot of parents, myself included sometimes.
It really is a mind shift, but Cline and Fay argue it's like the foundation for teaching responsibility.
Because they learn from actually experiencing the outcome.
Exactly. That example of forgetting lunch. You could lecture them about responsibility on the drive over with the lunchbox.
More.
Or they could feel hungry for a bit. Which lesson do you think sticks more when it comes to remembering their lunch tomorrow?
Point taken. But wow, resisting that urge to just fix it. That's tough.
It is. The technique is don't rescue immediately. Offer empathy, sure, but then reinforce their ability to handle it. That's where they talk about the power message.
The power message.
Yeah. So first, empathy. It's like, oh man, forgetting your homework, that must feel awful.
Okay. Acknowledge the feeling.
Right. Then, immediately, the question. So what do you think you're going to do about it? See? It puts the ball straight back in their court.
Instead of me saying, well, you've lost your points for the day, or okay, I'll run it over this one time.
Precisely. It's acknowledging their struggle. Leaving your project at school sounds super frustrating, but then what's your plan to sort it out?
So this works for, like, messy rooms leading to lost toys or blowing allowance and not having money for something.
Any situation where their choice or lack of action creates a problem for them. You're there with empathy, you support them thinking through it, but you let the logical consequence play out.
Okay, but you still need rules. You still need boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
How do you enforce those with this empathy thing? Doesn't that just soften the consequence?
That's a common question, but the key is how you deliver the limit or consequence. It's done calmly, kindly, no anger. When you do that, you're actually modeling self-control, which is a lesson in itself.
And they're really clear, right? Empathy isn't the same as being lenient.
Not at all. The boundary stays firm. You just acknowledge the child's feelings about it. Like, empathy first, then the limit.
Give me an example.
Okay, say, screen time is over. Time for homework. You could say, wow, that game looks really fun, and I know it's tough to stop when you're enjoying something. That's the empathy.
Okay.
Then, and in our family, homework comes before more game time. Clear boundary, delivered kindly after acknowledging their reality.
Right. Okay. Another big piece seems to be teaching decision-making by giving choices.
Oh, absolutely central.
Yeah.
It's not just a trick to get toddlers dressed, though it works for that too. It's about building that skill for life.
And they call it structured choices.
Yeah. You offer options, but only options you can live with. So it's not, do you want broccoli or ice cream for dinner? It's, would you like carrots or peas with your chicken tonight? Or blue coat or red coat?
But hang on, one of the sources we looked at brought up a good point about that code example, didn't it? About age appropriateness.
Yes, that's a really important nuance. Offering a coat choice to a 2-year-old who might genuinely choose no coat in freezing weather isn't really teaching logic yet, because they can't fully grasp the consequence.
Right, they're not logical yet.
Exactly. But offering a choice between two acceptable chores to an 8-year-old, or asking a teen about their plan for getting an assignment done, those are age-appropriate ways to use choices where they can start to weigh the options.
So the parent is more like a guide, a consultant.
That's the term they use, yeah. You guide by asking questions, not giving answers. What do you think might happen if you choose to stay out later than we agreed? Prompting them to think ahead.
And if they make a choice and it blows up in their face.
Then you're there with support, not judgment. Oh man, I see you're really disappointed that didn't work out like you hoped. What did we learn here? What might you try differently next time? It's always back to learning.
And this consultant parent idea is contrasted with other styles, right?
Yes, they lay out 3 types. First, the helicopter parent.
We all know that one. Hovering, fixing, rescuing.
Right. And the hidden message the child gets is often something like, you're not capable, you need me to survive. Which, tends to lead to dependence, maybe less confidence.
Okay, then the opposite.
The drill sergeant. Very authoritarian. Rules, commands, expecting instant obedience, no questions asked.
What's the message there?
You can't think for yourself, so I'll do it for you, which can kind of stifle creativity and make it harder for kids to develop their own judgment.
So love and logic promotes the consultant parent.
Exactly. The advisor. You offer choices, you provide support, you let them experience consequences, especially, they say, when the price tag is affordable, when the mistake isn't catastrophic.
Letting them learn from small mistakes now to avoid big ones later.
Precisely. And the message becomes, hey, your choices really shape your life, so you need to get good at making them. This is the style they believe fosters true independence and logical thinking.
Okay, so theory's one thing. How does this look day to day? What are some concrete tools parents can use? They had that step-by-step process for guiding kids to solve problems.
Right, the 5 steps. It starts, predictably, with empathy. Oh, wow, how sad. That sounds tough. Connect first.
Step 1, empathy. Then.
Step 2, the power message. What are you going to do? Put it back on them.
Okay.
Step 3, offer choices, maybe gently. Want to hear what some other kids have tried? Give a few possibilities, maybe some good, some not so good.
And step 4 involves them thinking it through.
Yep. And how do you think that choice will work out for you? Get them to predict the consequence of their potential solution.
Right.
This step often loops back with step 3 as they weigh options.
And the last step.
Give permission. Okay, good luck with that. Hope it works out. You let them try their solution, even if you suspect it's not the best one. Sometimes, they say, a poor choice leads to a double learning opportunity when it doesn't work.
Okay. What else? There was something about enforceable statements.
Yes, this is great for avoiding nagging. Instead of telling the child what they must do, like clean your room now, which you can't always make them do,
Right.
you state what you will do from your perspective. And it has to be something you can actually control.
So instead of eat your vegetables.
Maybe I serve healthy dinners at 6 p.m. Or instead of stop yelling, maybe I listen to people who speak respectfully. Or I'll be happy to drive you to your friend's house once the car is quiet. You state your boundary, your action.
That takes some practice, I bet.
Definitely. And sometimes you're just too mad or flustered in the moment to think straight. That's where delaying the consequence comes in.
Buying yourself time.
Exactly. You say something calm like, oh dear, this is really sad. I'm going to have to do something about this. But not right now. Later. Try not to worry.
And what does that do?
Well, it stops the immediate power struggle. Give you time to cool off, maybe consult your partner, think of a logical consequence. And interestingly, the anticipation can sometimes be part of the lesson for the child.
Let them stew a bit.
Maybe. But delivered calmly later, the consequence links back to the behavior, not the heat of the moment.
Choices came up again, too, as a practical tool.
Constantly. Because giving small, low-stakes choices, milk or water, this chore or that chore, builds that decision muscle and gives kids a sense of control, which can actually make them more cooperative.
And the rules for giving choices.
Key things. Only offer choices you're genuinely okay with either way. And never offer a choice when you're already in an argument that just rewards arguing. Start with phrases like, would you rather? Or, feel free to choose.
Got it. And what about those quick phrases, the one-liners?
Oh, the love and logic one-liners. They're designed purely to sidestep arguments. Short, calm phrases that end the conversation without escalating things.
Right.
Nice try. Probably so. I bet it feels that way. Or the classic, I love you too much to argue. They just stop the back and forth.
And this all ties back to that difference between consequences and punishment.
Absolutely fundamental. A consequence delivered with empathy helps the child see the link between their action and the outcome. The problem or the choice is the issue.
Whereas punishment,
Punishment, especially if it's angry or seems arbitrary, often makes the parent the bad guy. The child focuses on the parent being mean or how to avoid getting caught next time, not on what they actually did.
so consequences teach, punishment might just create resentment.
That's the idea. Think of that babysitter routine example they give, paying yourself a different rate based on the kid's behavior, and maybe the kids have to pay back the difference with chores or toys. The consequence is directly logically linked.
Or just calmly carrying on with bedtime during a tantrum after saying, I understand you're upset.
Exactly. Or offering mealtime choices like chicken first or peas first. It gives control within the non-negotiable structure of the meal. It's often about connecting things they want playtime, privileges to the behavior you expect.
And the general advice seems to be, pick your battles, don't get sucked into arguments, focus on the behavior, not labeling the child, talk about it calmly later if needed, and then kind of let it go. Do your part and trust the process.
Yeah, walk away with a smile, as they sometimes say. Let the logic do the teaching.
Okay, so if parents manage to implement this
Yeah.
consistently, what's the payoff down the road? What's the long-term vision?
Well, it's really about setting kids up for adulthood. A huge piece is building their inner locus of control.
Meaning they make decisions based on their own understanding, their own values, not just because someone is telling them to or watching them.
Exactly. They learn to think, if I do X, Y will probably happen, and make choices based on that internal calculation rather than just external pressure.
That sounds like a recipe for resilience, too.
Definitely. If you let kids experience these affordable failures, small mistakes with manageable consequences, and learn from them, they realize that messing up isn't the end of the world. It's just data, information for next time. That builds resilience.
And obviously, it directly teaches those decision-making skills they'll need for, well, everything. Jobs, money, relationships.
Right. And think about the emotional intelligence piece. When kids experience boundaries being held firmly but kindly, with empathy, they internalize that respect and fairness can coexist with limits. They learn how to handle disagreements constructively.
Consistency seems like the magic ingredient here, though.
As with almost any parenting approach, yeah. The benefits are cumulative. But the underlying philosophy is one of trusting that kids can learn, they can become responsible, if we give them the right kind of guidance and the space to practice.
So wrapping this up, this deep dive really shows love and logic as a framework for shifting from maybe controlling kids to coaching them.
Yeah, coaching them towards responsibility and resilience, using that powerful mix of empathy and consequences.
It's less about managing behavior moment to moment and more about equipping them with the skills and the mindset they need for life. Stepping back so they can step up.
Well put. It's about building those internal tools they'll carry with them long after we're out of the picture.
So here's something to maybe mull over after listening. Where could you allow an affordable failure this week? What small, low-stakes situation could you let your child navigate, consequences and all, that might teach a valuable lesson for the future? And thinking about choices, what's just one simple, genuine choice you could offer them tomorrow, just to exercise that decision-making muscle? Something to think about.